just the real cost of the climb.
Trust the process when the process don't look like nothing yet. Trust the process when the bank account's a memory in debt. Trust the process when the people that you love start looking worried. Trust the process, the arrival always comes when you least expect it. Don't hurry.
Nobody tells you that the process looks identical to failing. From the outside, from the angle of the people that are trailing your decisions with their eyes. Same energy as watching someone drown and calling it a choice. That's what the watching feels like when you in it and you know what you're building. When you see the blueprint that nobody else is seeing. When the faith is yours alone and faith alone don't pay the bill. Trust the process is the sentence that you say against your will. At 3 a.m. when the process hasn't shown you anything. When trust is all you got and trust don't mean a single thing. To the version of the world that needs the proof before the faith. Trust the process, say it anyway, that's the only way. Trust the process when the process don't look like nothing yet. Trust the process when the bank account's a memory in debt. Trust the process when the people that you love start looking worried. Trust the process, the arrival always comes when you least expect it unheard. I've been in the process longer than I care to calculate. Been in the phase where nothing's clicking long enough to create the doubt that looks like wisdom, the giving up that looks like growth, the version of the quitting that you dress in something both reasonable and mature. I'm being realistic now. That's the process testing you. That's the process showing how deep the faith goes. Does it go past the comfortable? Past the point where trusting it is clearly just impossible. From the outside, does it go there minded barely? But it went there and I'm standing here so clearly. The process knew something that my doubt was trying to hide. Trust the process is the armor when there's nothing else inside. Process don't care about your timeline or your feelings. The process don't negotiate with doubt or with the dealings of your fear. It just keeps asking one thing every day. Do you still believe in this? That's all it has to say. I missed events, I missed the birthdays and the dinners. I missed the version of the life where everybody wins in. Nobody has to sacrifice the present for the future. Nobody has to be the one with no immediate future visible. Just a blueprint in the chest and the belief that the blueprint's real enough to justify the grief of everything I didn't do while I was in the process. Trust the process is expensive. Pay it without protest. Trust the process when the process don't look like nothing yet. Trust the process when the bank account's a memory in debt. Trust the process when the people that you love start looking worried. Trust the process, the arrival always comes when you least expect it on a run. Trust it, even when it looks like nothing. Especially when it looks like nothing. Trust the process. Nobody believed first. I was the only one. Nobody believed first. Before the proof, before it was done. Nobody believed first. That's a lonely kind of start. Nobody believed first. So I learned to be my own heart. I told people what I was building and I saw it in their face. The polite version of the doubt, the smile that's in the place of what they really think. That's a nice idea, good luck, said with the energy of someone who don't think it's gonna become much. I learned to stop telling people early, kept the vision locked inside the chest where nobody's opinion could get it knocked off the shelf. That's the first lesson of the process. Keep the blueprint private till the blueprint becomes obvious. Nobody believed first. I was the only one. Nobody believed first. Before the proof, before it was done. Nobody believed first. That's a lonely kind of start. Nobody believed first. So I learned to be my own heart. Not even the people closest, not the ones who love me genuine.
Now my mama at the start, she worried she was finishing every sentence about my choices with a but. Just in case it doesn't work. Just in case that's the face of love that's scared for you and I don't hold it against her. Love that's scared looks like doubt from the inside of the winner. But mama, I'm glad you worried, because worry means you cared, and I needed someone caring even if they were scared. Being the only believer is its own specific training. It builds the muscle that you need for when the world starts raining. Doubt on everything you've built, you already know the weight, already carried it alone. The crowd believing comes too late to matter for the faith. You built the faith without them. Trust the process means you trusted it before the outcome. Now they believe that part came. I'm not pretending, I'm not gonna lie and say the validation isn't lending something to the days. It does, it feels like something real, but nothing hit the same as the specific early feel of being the only one convinced. That version of the faith that existed without evidence, without a safety plate beneath it, just the blueprint and the will and me alone. Nobody believed first, I did, and that's the cornerstone. That's a lonely kind of start. Nobody believed first. So I learned to be my own heart. Only one who believed for the purpose. Learn to be my own heart. That's the cornerstone.
Sacrifice everything, don't say it light. Sacrifice everything, miss years of my life. Sacrifice everything, the comfort and the sleep. Sacrifice everything, some of it I can't get back, and that cuts deep. Yeah, I missed the wedding, told myself I'd explain it later. Missed my cousin's graduation, missed the dinner, missed the birthday not once, twice. The process had no calendar for anything that didn't move the mission. That's the chancellor of your time when you're in it. Everything gets ranked against the goal, and if it doesn't serve it, it gets blank. Checked, it gets a maybe. It gets I'll be there in spirit. And the people in your life start learning not to hear it when you say you'll make it. That's the tax of the sacrifice. Not the sleep, not the comfort, it's the people and the price they pay for your decision. That one's harder to account. Sacrifice everything means more than the discount. Sacrifice everything, don't say it like. Sacrifice everything, miss years of my life. Sacrifice everything, the comfort and the sleep. Sacrifice everything, some of it I can't get back, and that cuts deep. My body kept the score of every late night in the early. Every meal I skipped, every symptom I dismissed too early. Cause the process didn't leave a slot for being sick. Because the mission doesn't pause, that's the specific trick. The grind plays on you, makes you feel like stopping. For anything human is the same as the dropping of the whole thing. So you run through it, run on empty, and the body pays a difference. Sacrifices plenty, not the dating. I chose this with full knowledge, chose the process over comfort, chose the work over the college of experience that other people built while I was grinding. I'm saying sacrifice is real and it's worth naming. Not performing it, not wearing it like a badge for claiming sympathy, just saying the cost was real, I paid it. And some of what I paid with I can't get back, I made it permanent. And that's part of the story too. Some things I got back, sleep eventually returned. Comfort came with the arrival of the thing I earned. Some relationships survived the absence and came back strong. Proved themselves by waiting through the process all along, but some didn't. Some people left the space I vacated and filled they life completely. And I can't be frustrated because I was the one who left first.
left for the mission. Sacrifice everything is just the honest definition of what costs. Want to guess, but worth it doesn't mean free. Sacrificed everything, and everything included pieces of me. Sacrifice everything. Don't say it light. Sacrifice everything. Miss years of my life. Sacrifice everything. The comfort and the sleep. Sacrifice everything. Some of it I can't get back, and that cuts deep.
Some of it I can't get back.
Worth it, but not free. Sacrifice everything. Real cost, real sacrifice.
Lonely at the bottom, nobody's there with you. Lonely at the bottom, even the mirror see through. Lonely at the bottom, not the broke kind, it's specific. The kind where the vision's yours alone and it's terrific and terrible at once. Lonely at the bottom. The bottom isn't just the money, that's the easy part to say. The bottom is the 2 a.m. with nothing on the way. No sign, no signal, no green light, no confirmation. Just a blueprint in your chest and the daily conversation you have with yourself about whether this is real, whether the thing you feel is vision or the desperate feel of someone who just can't accept the obvious conclusion that maybe this is not the path. That's the bottom's contribution to the dot. It's not the broke, it's the alone inside the broke, the specific frequency of on your own. Lonely at the bottom, nobody's there with you. Lonely at the bottom, even the mirror see through. Lonely at the bottom, not the broke kind, the specific. The kind where the vision's yours alone and it's terrific and terrible at once. Lonely at the bottom. I remember eating alone because I couldn't afford the social. The cost of being present in the world felt too colossal. When the margin was this thin, every coffee was a question. Every outing was a math problem. Every suggestion of let's go somewhere was a calculation of the damage to the process. Lonely at the bottom is the package that the vision comes inside. Nobody glamorizes the specific kind of lonely that the bottom comprises. Lonely at the bottom builds a kind of self-reliance that the comfortable never get. It builds the alliance between you and the process, you and the belief, because when nobody's there, you either find your own relief or you quit. And I'm still here, so I found it, built it from the inside out while the outside doubted. I don't romanticize it. Lonely isn't good for you. It does something to the nervous system, something to the view you have of people, of trust, of who's genuinely present versus who shows up when the outcome's in the pleasant territory. Lonely at the bottom leaves a residue, a slight suspicion of the crowd that wasn't there but found you when the process paid off. That's the bottom's lasting gift, the ability to tell the difference. That's the shift. Lonely at the bottom, nobody's there with you. See through. Lonely at the bottom, not the broke kind, the specific. The kind where the vision's yours alone and it's terrific and terrible at once. Lonely at the bottom. Nobody there with you. Built the belief alone. Lonely at the bottom. Still here though, still here. Bet on myself when the odds were impossible. Bet on myself when the math wasn't logical. Bet on myself, whole stack, no hedging the risk. Bet on myself, every chip, every list of reasons not to. I heard them, then I bet. Nobody was offering the deal that I needed, so I became the investor and the founder and proceeded to fund the vision from the nothing that I had, which was belief. Turns out belief's not bad.
Collateral when everything else is underwater. When the bank account's a joke in every quarter, goes directly back into the thing you're building. Nobody betting on you means you do the gilding. Yourself, you are the patron and the artist. You are the label and the act. Trust the process hardest when the only signature on the contract is your own. Bet on myself cause I had no choice, and that's how champions are grown.
Bet on myself when the odds were impossible. Bet on myself when the math wasn't logical. Bet on myself, whole stack, no head in the risk. Bet on myself, every chip, every list of reasons not to. I heard him, then I bet.
I turned down the safe thing twice. That's the part they don't tell. About the process, you get off at the comfortable, the well-paved exit from the risk, the reasonable alternative, and you have to choose the process. Have to live with the decision every day. It doesn't pay. That's the real bet, not the first one, the 1,000 you place when you're soaked wet from the rain of doubt, and someone holds an umbrella out, and you walk past it back into the rain. That's what betting on yourself's about. The bet on myself wasn't confidence. Let me be honest, it was desperation wearing confidence promise. It was, I have nothing else, this is the only direction that my gut endorses, so the bet became the only option. And the only option starts to look like chosen conviction once the process pays, but in the middle it was friction. Every person who made it bet on themselves at some point. Every person who made it had the moment at the gunpoint of the doubt. Do you believe this or do you fall? Every person who made it chose to hold in a specific moment that the hand looked worse. That's the bet, not the easy round, the hard one, the one covered in sweat. I placed that bet, I'm still placing it today. Bet on myself is not past tense, it's every single day.
Bet on myself when the odds were impossible. Bet on myself when the math wasn't logical. Bet on myself, whole stack, no hedge in the risk. Bet on myself, every chip, every list for reasons not to. I heard him, then I bet. Whole stack. Every tape. Still betting. Every single day.
They watch me struggle. Said me. They watch me struggle, front row said nothing. They watch me struggle, comfortable in they something. They watch me struggle, some of them enjoyed it. They watch me struggle, I filed every face and invoiced. I don't forget faces, that's the specific gift. The process gave me perfect memory of the drift of the eyes when I was down, who looked away convenient, who changed the subject when the subject was my current state of things, who suddenly got busy when I needed help the most, who got dizzy from the proximity to someone struggling, someone not yet arrived. I see you and I haven't forgot. They watch me struggle, front row said nothing. They watch me struggle, comfortable in their something. They watch me struggle, some of them enjoyed it. They watch me struggle, I filed every face and invoice. Some of them were quiet, which I understand, and mostly not forgiven. Everybody's got their own, and mostly people just don't know what to do with someone else's hard time. But some of them were different, some of them were hard time adjacent, leaning close enough to see the wound, then use the information in a room without me in it. I heard eventually, use my struggle as the evidence of what I'd never be. I wanna say it made me angry, it did, briefly. But anger's just the first response, the surface relief of the thing beneath. Beneath it was the fuel, the specific kind that burns the longest, burns the cool, containing patient kind. I took the watching, turned it into the foundation, kept on walking. Now they watch me different, same eyes, different angle. The front row shifted when the outcome changed the framing. I don't perform for them, I don't address the watching. I just keep building, that's the only option we're taking. Not the revenge, not the proving, not the speech, just the continuing and moving. They watch me struggle, now they watch me build. Same audience, same seats, different field. They watch me struggle, front row said nothing. They watch me struggle, comfortable in their something. They watch me struggle.
Same audience, different story now.
Almost quit on a Tuesday, nothing special about the day. Almost quit on a Tuesday, almost put the whole thing away. Almost quit, the hand was on the door. Almost quit, then something made me try once more. It wasn't a dramatic moment, that's the thing about almost. It wasn't a breakdown, wasn't the lowest of the lowest. Just a Tuesday, just a regular day of nothing working. Just the accumulation of the weeks of quiet hurt and landing all at once. And I sat there with the thought, what if this is the sign? What if this is all it's got? Thought it seriously, not dramatic, just considered it. Let the quitting be a real option, pondered it. Almost quit on a Tuesday, nothing special about the day. Almost quit on a Tuesday, almost put the whole thing away. Almost quit, the hand was on the door. Almost quit, and something made me try once more. I didn't get a sign, I wanna be clear about that. No revelation, no song on the radio that brought me back. No person called with perfect timing, no sudden clarity. Just me sitting with the quitting and the familiarity of everything I'd already given to the process. The years, the sacrifice, the cost, and the consciousness that walking away meant carrying a different weight. The weight of the stop, not the run and wait. Too late to stop feeling, only choose which feeling. So I chose the one that came with forward motion. That's how almost goes. Almost quit is the most honest thing a person in the process can admit. Everybody almost quit. The difference between the ones who made it and the ones who didn't isn't talent, isn't timing, it's the Tuesday that they didn't. I think about that Tuesday like a door I didn't open, like a version of my life that would have stayed forever broken, and it could have been the process that I trusted, that got to the arrival because Tuesday I adjusted. The hand from the door back to the desk, back to the work, back to the one more day. That's the perk of almost quitting. You discover what you're made of, not in the easy days and the ones that you were afraid of. Almost quit on a Tuesday, nothing special about the day. Almost quit on a Tuesday, almost put the whole thing away. Almost quit, the hand was on the door. Almost quit, and something made me try once more. Tuesday, yeah, just a Tuesday. Hand on the door. Step back and kept going.
The night before it worked, I didn't know it was that night. The night before it worked, I almost turned off the light. The night before it worked looked just like every other. The night before it worked, I had no idea what was coming. I remember what I ate, whatever was in the fridge. I remember I was tired, and specific on the ridge, or something breaking kinda tired. Not the sleep kind, the tide that accumulates as someone who's designed their whole life around a thing that hasn't paid yet. The tide that's specific to the process in a way that feels when it's not money, but time. I was in that. The night before it worked, I didn't know that. The night before it worked, I didn't know it was that night. The night before it worked, I almost turned off the light. The night before it worked looked just like every other. The night before it worked, I had no idea what was coming. The cruelest thing about the process is the absence of a signal, no notification, no advancement. Bar that fills before the level, just the same day, over and over until it isn't in the same day. Before the different one looks identical, all of them. You can't prepare for the arrival because all of them look the same from the inside. The breakthrough and the failure wear the same Tuesday face. That's the nature of the sailor who If I knew it was the night before, I would've savored it. Stayed up on purpose, marked it, maybe even prayed for it. But I went to sleep at normal time, tired and uncertain, not knowing that the morning was about to pull the curtain back on everything. And maybe that's the gift. The process gives you the surprise of the shift. Now I think about that night on hard days, use it as the anchor, that every unremarkable tonight might be the night before the banker of tomorrow's breakthrough, the container of the thing that changes everything. The night before it working looked like nothing was everything. Trust the process means you treat the nothing nice like something, cause any night could be the one, you just don't get the notification until the morning comes and changes the equation. The night before it worked, I didn't know it was that night. The night before it worked, I almost turned off the light. The night before it worked looked just like every other. The night before it worked, I had no idea what was coming. Didn't know. Went to sleep like any other night. Woke up different. Any night could be that night. Any night.
Now they see me same person, different lighting. Now they see me, the process did the writing. Now they see me, where were you back then? Now they see me, I remember all of them. Same hands built this, built to nothing that they overlooked. Same mind, same vision, same blueprint, they just never looked close enough when close enough was free. Now there's a cover charge, now there's a waiting list for access to the things they once discharged as unrealistic as a phase. It's something I grow out of, same thing, different packaging. That's what the cloud of arrival does. Makes the vision retroactively genius, makes the struggle retroactively the story. That's the meanest irony of the process. The same thing that they doubted is the thing they're now describing as the thing they always spotted. Now they see me, same person, different lighting. Now they see me, the process did the writing. Now they see me, where were you back then? Now they see me, I remember all of them. I remember all of them. I don't bring it up, I don't need it, the math speaks. The timeline is public, everyone can check the weeks of silence when my thing was up and nobody was watching to the now. The contrast does the talking, I don't perform the vindication. I don't need the scene, I just keep building and let the building say what I mean. Now they see me as less about the scene and more about the knowing that the vision was always real without the audience. That's the process, that's most important lesson. Now they see me, but I was here before the reception.
The ones who saw me early, before the proof, before the result. Those are the ones I carry, those are the ones that built
The foundation with me in the quiet, not the crowd that found the thing was loud. I take the meetings, I receive the recognition. I do it with the knowledge of the full edition of the story, not just the arrival, the whole book. The lonely bottom, the almost quit, the overlooked Tuesday that I stayed, I bring all of it into the room. Nobody sees the weight behind the bloom, but I know it's there and that's enough to process. Made me someone who don't need the crowd to process. Whether this is real, I know it's real, I built it real. Now they see me, and I know exactly how that feels. Now they see me, same person, different lighting. Now they see me, the process did the writing. Now they see me, where were you back then? Now they see me, I remember all of them. I remember all of them. Same person,
Yeah. Or die trying. Or die trying. That's the whole sentence, or die trying. Not the metaphor, the permanence, or die trying. I signed that contract with myself, or die trying. That's the only promise left on the shelf. I've been asked what happens if it doesn't work eventually. What's the exit plan to back up the contingency? I don't have one, that's not ignorance, it's architecture. The absence of the exit is the structural connector between me and the process. If the door out is available, the doubt will find it on the hardest days. We'll label it as wisdom, so I bricked it up. I made the bet, the kind without a hedge. Trust the process or die trying, not yet done with either option. Very much alive and very much still in it. Or die trying is the crutch I threw away so I would have to walk. That's the commitment. Or die trying isn't drama, it's the structural equipment. Or die trying, that's the whole sentence. Or die trying, not the metaphor, the permanence. Or die trying, I signed a contract with myself. Or die trying, that's the only promise left on the shelf. Yeah. I've been through the almost quit, the lonely, the sacrifice. Been through the night before work, paid every price the process asked for. And I'm still here, still building, still finding new floors to add to what I'm gilding into something real. The process isn't over, you don't graduate from trusting. You're never sober from the requirement to believe. The process is the permanent state of someone building something. Or die trying, permanent commitment to the only life that makes sense from the inside. Or die trying is the only vow I never let subside. If you're in the process, the lonely, the almost, the watching them watch you struggle, this is your coast. The night before it works looks just like tonight. Or die trying means you still here at first light. Still breathing, still building, still the only one who sees the blueprint clear. Trust the process or die trying. That's not a slogan, that's a life. I wanna leave this here for the version of me that comes after, the one who makes it further, who becomes something I can't predict from where I'm standing. So to me that's further gone has an understanding of where this came from. The Tuesday, the alone, to nobody believe first. The process built from bone and faith and stubbornness, and the refusal to accept that the vision in the chest deserves anything except the whole life. Or die trying is the legacy I'm leaving for myself. Still breathing means still achieving, still building means still trusting. Trust the process or die trying. That's the album, that's the promise, that's the only sentence that has always been enough. Trust the process or die trying. Do it or die trying. There's no in between. There never was. Or die trying. That's the whole sentence of die trying. Not the metaphor, the permanence. Or die trying. I signed a contract with myself. Or die trying. That's the only promise left on the shelf. Still here, still building. Trust the process or die trying. Or die trying. Still here.